Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Today I wanted to share with you some thoughts I had about prepping for a zombie apocalypse. Now that may sound like it's something ridiculous that we should be concerned with, that it's something out of the movies. But when you really think about what an apocalypse means, then you realize that maybe we're not too far off to plan for the worst case scenario. An apocalypse would be the end of, say, the world as we know it, which doesn't have to mean the end of the whole world. It could mean something that completely disrupts the area where you live. Maybe you live in an area that has an earthquake, a tornado, floods, hurricanes. Wouldn't something like that be considered an apocalypse to you personally? And so then you have to think about the other people that are around you. People live according to their addictions. If you take away their ability to get the things they're addicted to, they turn into zombie-like creatures. Maybe you yourself have some kind of an addiction that is something that you want, you crave, you desire. Maybe you want your morning coffee, your Diet Pepsi with your lunch. Maybe you want a glass of wine with dinner or a cigarette. Those are the kind of addictions that make people turn into zombies when they can't have what they want. In emergency situations, the first stores that are looted are liquor stores. Do you think people would become zombies without their alcohol? Well, I think the answer is yes. I did a little research and found that the most common alcohol consumed in the United States is whiskey. And in something like 15 states, the most common whiskey is Fireball. Would that be something worth having on hand in case you encountered people who were desperate for some alcohol? Maybe it's worthwhile to have a few small bottles on hand in case you needed to barter with someone, or reason with someone, or help them deal with their addiction in a time of emergency. Another addiction that people have is smoking. People go crazy if they can't have their cigarette. I was on an airplane one time and a lady across the aisle got out a cigarette and was just dangling it in her mouth. And the flight attendants were like, "You can't have that, don't light that, don't do that." And she's like, "I just need to touch it in my lips. I just need to touch it in my lips." Obviously, if this was just a 6-hour flight, can you imagine if this woman had been 6 days without a cigarette? People with addictions can actually have erratic behaviors that can put others in danger when they can't get what they want. Maybe you want to pick up a few packs of cigarettes, have a few lighters. You never know when you might be able to barter those for something that you need even more. Did you realize after liquor stores, the next stores that are looted are drug stores? There are lots of people who have drug addictions. It's just a fact of life. Now, I am not proposing that anyone put a stockpile of illegal drugs. In an emergency situation, people can't have their drugs, but they're still going to have those symptoms. They want to feel better. They want to relieve whatever is bothering them. So we're not going to have illegal drugs on hand, but you could head to the Dollar Tree and you could pick up some over-the-counter pain medications. They're going to have headaches, body aches, sore throats. In an emergency, people might also need antibiotic creams, rash ointments, first aid creams. There are all kinds of over-the-counter medicines and remedies that you could choose to stockpile a few extras, $1 at a time. Put those away. You have those in case there is something like a zombie apocalypse. Think if you had a supply of things and you did encounter desperate people, you could even be in a position to protect your own family if you encounter people who are in desperate straits, because you might have something, just a little bit, that you can help them on their way so they feel a little better and then they'll go on. Make sure that in any kind of a bartering situation that you never reveal all that you have. Show a few items and see if maybe they have something they want to trade with you, or maybe you'll be in a position when you're willing to just donate them so that they'll be on their way and leave you alone. We don't know what we're going to encounter, but we do know that there are emergency situations that all of us will encounter sometime in our life. We also know that there are people that when they don't get their addictive substances, they just become erratic and irrational, and then they can be a danger to you. Stockpiling a few items that could help those with addictions feel better and keep them going on their way could be something that keeps you and your family safe. when you never thought that was coming. Don't think that in an emergency situation, the only people you're going to encounter are coming after your Spam, your rice, and your beans. That's not what they're looking for. People with addictive behaviors, something like drug addicts, are willing to do just about anything, even on an average day. So make sure that in an emergency, you are doing what you can to protect yourself and your family. We don't know what we're going to encounter, so it's best to think of all different kinds of scenarios and then do what you can to prepare to meet those unexpected emergencies. If you're concerned with prepping for a zombie apocalypse, consider these items that I've suggested for you to have a stockpile with your prepping supplies, your emergency gear, in case you meet up with some of those zombies in an apocalyptic situation. Leave me a comment on what items you think are most important to stockpile in case there is an apocalypse in your life. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.